Hello and welcome back, adventurers. This is Captain TTRPG, and today we're talking about Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Welcome back, adventurers. Today we are going to talk about companions. This could be animal companions, elemental companions, construct companions, undead companions, all types of companions you can have along with your class. What I won't be talking about today are pets and familiars. Those will get their own videos. Well, at least familiars will get its own videos. I'm not sure pet will get its own video. But that's not what we're focused on today. Today is truly companions. Companions are creatures that you control directly. They are capable of wading into combat, which really sets them apart from something like a familiar. And you get into melee for the most part with your companions. They can have range options as well. They can have special abilities. They generally have health and armor classes that are close to yours or even exceed yours in some cases, making them reasonable to get into the fray with the rest of the party or even as a primary meat shield for the party. As long as you continue to commit feats into improving your companion, you'll get a companion that's really hardy, that you can keep throughout the game, that feels valuable the entire time you play. And that's what I want to make sure people are capable of doing, because companions aren't the easiest things to understand, and especially if you don't have some builder like Pathfinder2e, they can be relatively hard to keep track of and add the right stats to and all of that. So we're going to talk about companions, starting out with how do companions work. So assuming you have access to a companion, there are some simple rules to keep track of. Your companion has the minion trait. Now, what the minion trait means is that it follows your commands, and on your turn, you use one action to give it 2 actions, which is great. So it's getting some value out of it. You've got your own value out of your other 2 actions, so you aren't using all of your actions on your companion, but you do have to use some to keep it listening to you and giving orders to it. Your companion does not share your multiple attack penalty, something really valuable for rangers or any kind of melee combatant or range combatant that's dealing attacks a lot, so that you aren't wasting your attack penalty on your companion, because they aren't going to have the same chance to hit you will. So it's okay that you don't share that multiple attack penalty. You can flank an enemy with your own companion, or your allies can flank enemies with your companion. They are an ally on the battlefield that counts for those types of things, and your companion levels up while you do. So yes, you do have to invest feats. That'll help with the stat bonuses and abilities and all these things, but it will just also increase its stats over time along with your level. So it's not going to fall behind simply because of that. You just want to keep it boosted up with feats, because as you go more than just your level for statistical increases, it also needs better boosts. So if you plan to create a character with a companion, it's a good idea to keep in mind that you're going to be giving up 1 action every turn. So when you're building a character that's going to do that, you want to make sure that you are a character that's relying on having all 3 actions. There are some builds that are very challenging from an action economy anyway. I think of things like gunslingers often have a hard time with actions because they have to reload guns. There are a lot of caster builds that are fine to give up because they only use 2 for the most part. That means you're not going to be moving. Different challenges that come in with giving up an action every time, but it's very worth it, I think, for what you get out of a full companion. So how are these statistics calculated for your companion? Before we go too deep in there, I really do recommend using something like Pathfinder2e or any other character creator for Pathfinder, because there's just a lot to keep track of, and you're already keeping track of your character and all of your stats and upgrading all the numbers on your sheet and then their sheet as well. It just makes it easier. So there's a recommendation to use pets for Path Builder. At least, though, you will have to do the paid version, which is a one-time purchase. Highly recommended. I still think it's worth it if you're going to be playing this game at all, but just wanted to put that out there. Okay, your companion calculates their statistics really just like you do. So since they are your level, everything they're proficient in, they get that your level added to that. When it comes to the ability scores to calculate their stats, that's going to be based on what type of companion you have. So like a base wolf companion stats are slightly different from a horse, slightly different from a construct. So that'll be all in the books or in Archives of Nethys, where you can find those base statistics, and then they'll increase just like yours do for anything you're proficient in, and your ability scores will increase at very specific times based on what you do with your feats. One big difference is that they can't get item bonuses while they can still have circumstance and status bonuses. They don't actually get item bonuses with one small exception, so just keep that in mind. Their attacks aren't going to go up with potency runes and things like that. The item bonuses you're used to getting, adding to your own. A lot of what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to kind of focus on animal companions. That is the most common type of companion. That's because of a few classes that get access to them by default. You'll hear me say animal companion. These things still apply to other types of companions. Just stay with me on that one. So your animal companion is trained in its unarmed attacks, and it'll get at least one, sometimes more than one. Its unarmed defense, barding, which is a type of armor for animals, and all of its saving throws, perception, acrobatics, and athletics. Your companion's hit points are also listed on a base on the stat block, and it'll also gain 6 per level. And that's consistent no matter which one you go with, you're getting 6 per level, with the exception of certain feats being able to play a role in that. So just assume it's 6 per level. So let's look at the stat block of one of the young or starting animal companions. So right now what you're seeing is a stat block for the badger. As you can see, it is small, has 2 different unarmed attacks, and that is trained in, of course. And it lists the statistics here, words. It gets 8 HP at level 1, and then of course 6 after that, because the 8 HP is basically, it's kind of like saying badger is the ancestry you chose for your companion. You can kind of think of it that way. It's trained in survival on top of athletics and acrobatics, and it has a few different senses, several different movement speeds. Finally, it has a support benefit and an advanced maneuver. We'll get to those, we're not there yet. Haha, I made it sound like it was going to be a long time. What's the support benefit? When you command your companion, it gains its 2 actions, like I mentioned before. You can use one of these actions to use the given support benefit. However, you can't use this if your companion has done anything other than move. So you could use your first action to move the companion and then trigger its support benefit, or you could trigger its support benefit and then move. But if you've done anything else, like attack being the most common, you cannot use its support benefit. And you also couldn't use support benefit and then attack. The only thing that combos with support benefit is movement. So just keep that in mind. The support benefits are different from ancestry or animal type to animal type, and of course constructs and all of those. They all get a support benefit. That doesn't mean they're entirely unique, that you'll find some that are consistent across different types of animals. There are kind of groups of these animals that get different support benefits. So it won't be fully unique, but you can find different support benefits looking at different creatures. The other thing in the stat block, of course, is that advanced maneuver. As you take feats in your class related to your companion and they level up, eventually you're going to get to one called Incredible Companion, or something very similar to that, at level 8. Mostly at level 8. Sometimes it can be about higher level than that, but mostly at level 8, Incredible Companion. This allows your companion to become what's called either savage or nimble. We'll explain those options later. Just know that this will happen. When you do get access to those and you choose one of these specialties, that means you now have access to that advanced maneuver. The advanced maneuver takes either 1 or 2 actions. Keep in mind, you're only giving your companion 2 actions. Usually, there are ways to augment that. Usually, so think about what it'll be able to do with those 2 actions. And this just gives it another way to act on its turn, or to enhance your creature, or give it something else different that really is unique to it this time. So you can see in the stat block for the badger, in this case, it can use 1 action, and it enters kind of a rage state, almost, if you will, which it has for the next minute, which is really cool. So it's one that's perpetual. These advanced maneuvers, again, they are truly unique, and so you might want to even choose your companion based on what its advanced maneuver is, assuming you're going to get to that level, and then play some afterward. So now that we understand the stat block, and we got through the basics, let's talk about what those advancement feats are that you're going to need to take. They're pretty consistent across the board, at least the ones that are going to do the base number increases for your companion. And they might have slightly different names, but this is generally speaking what you're going to see. So there are Mature Companion, Incredible Companion, and Specialized Companion. Mature Companion, or Mature Animal Companion, increases the size of your companion up to size large, and its strength, dex, con, and wisdom all go up by 1, which is great. Again, this is how we get those boosts to keep ourselves to keep our companion up and competitive. Increases proficiency with perception and all saving throws to expert. I said you're going to have good saving throws. You really are. You increase several proficiencies to trained or expert if they were already trained. You can look at that based on, your specific creature you've got. And this feat's generally available at level 4, sometimes at level 6. Like the rest of these advancement feats, really is critical, and you build off of that as we go forward. So it's kind of a must take if you're going to use a companion at all. The next on our list is Incredible Companion. And this is where you're choosing between Nimble and Savage. If you're Nimble, you are a dex-based creature and you get to increase your AC. You just don't get as big a damage boost, whereas the bulkier strength-based Savage creatures will get a higher damage boost, but they won't get the advanced dex and increase to AC. So kind of make your choice there. Savage can be better for grappling and tripping and things like that. So if you want to use them as a grappler, you might want to go with the Savage side. But if you want them to be in and out and less likely to take damage, you might want to go with the Nimble side of things. It also may depend on your creature that you chose and what type of attacks they have. If they have all finesse attacks, probably going to want to go with Nimble anyway. Keep in mind that, of course, this is also where we get our advanced maneuver, and this is usually available at level 8. Some classes it's available at level 10. Finally, at level 14 or 16, we can take Specialized Companion. This is really important general buff. So not only do you get to add a third dice to your companion's unarmed attack, because they already got a second dice from one of the earlier feats, you now add a third dice. You gain expert proficiency in those attacks. So you've had just trained proficiency in your unarmed attacks for your companion this whole time. This will give you that straight up +2 boost. Its saving throws and perception now go to Master, which is crazy. And you get to choose one of the following benefits. Ambusher. In your companion's natural environment, it can use sneak actions, even if it's currently observed, which is very cool. Its rank in stealth increases to expert or master if it was already expert, and its dexterity modifier gets an increase by 1. Its proficiency rank for unarmored defense, words, increases to expert as well. So you're going to get a nice AC boost for your ambusher. Next is Bully. Your companion's about terrorizing foes with its dominant displays and pushes them around the battlefield. Its proficiency ranks in athletics and intimidation go to expert, or again, master if you are already expert. Its strength will go up by 1, and its charisma will increase by 3 to really take advantage of your intimidation. So if you're looking for those grappler builds that want to demoralize creatures, Bully is your go-to. The next is Daredevil. Your companion joins the fray with graceful leaps and dives. It gains the Deny Advantage ability. So it isn't off guard to hidden or undetected or flanking creatures, which is great for not getting hit or crit a lot. This is turned off if a creature's level is greater than yours, but you're probably fighting mostly creatures your level or slightly lower if it's packs. Its proficiency ranks in acrobatics increases to master, and its dexterity goes up by 1. Its unarmored defense also increases to expert. So a good option that's dex-based that isn't ambusher if you're not going into that route. The next is Racer. Your companion is very fast. Get a +10 bonus to speed, and that's regular speed, that's swim speed, fly speed. If it's got either of those, you're getting a lot of speed out of this, which is great. Your proficiency in fortitude saves goes to legendary, and its constitution increases by 1. This is survivability. So if you just want to make sure you can keep your companion alive, that may be your best route. Tracker. Your companion is an incredible tracker. No surprise. It can move at full speed while it tracks, which normally it wouldn't be able to in exploration. Its proficiency rank in survival increases to expert or master if it's already expert, and its wisdom modifier increases by 1. So this is if you want to use your companion to help hunt down your enemies. And finally, Wrecker. Your companion breaks things. Its unarmed attacks ignore half of an object's hardness. Its athletics goes up to master, and its strength increases by 1. So if you think you're going to, be in an urban environment, or you're going to go through an area that you can smash walls or, throw things around and break things, this might be a good way to go, although probably not my first go-to. Talking about all those benefits, you can take Specialized Companion, like we said, at 14 or 16, but you can also take it repetitively to add more of these. So you're not stuck to just one. If If you really want to lean into your companion, you can just keep taking more specializations. Okay, so how can you go about getting a companion? Because it's not just something you get to have because you feel like it. There are certain ways to get access. The first is Druid. So Druid has a subclass, the Animal Order, and then it'll give you an Animal Companion at level 1. You'll gain access to Mature Animal Companion at 4, Incredible at 8, and Specialized at 16. So that's some nice little boosts you can get in there. You can plan out your feats ahead of time. And keeping in mind that casters don't really get the best feats ever, this is a great way to spend your class feats. The next class that gets a companion is the Inventor if you take the Construct Innovation. This is a prototype construct companion, and you'll gain your advances for them at level 4, level 8, and Paragon, which is specialized here, at 14. So that's, again, trying to math them back to the animal companion ones. They just have different names here. Ranger, you gain access to an animal companion by choice of a feat at level 1. So any ranger subclass can get one. And you gain access to Mature Companion at 6, Incredible at 10, and Specialized at 16. Notice that you get them a little later than the other two classes we talked about, which does make Ranger kind of hard to use for a main companion build, but you get everything else from your subclass, which really does make up for it. All right, so those are all the classes that offer companions. There's not a ton of them, only 3, but that's not the only way to do it. Now, I do want to make a call out. Eidolons have something that feels kind of like a companion, but it's far more than that, so I didn't want to include Summoner Eidolons. That's a whole different video when we talk about summoners, so let's stay away from that for now. What are some of the other ways to get a companion, though? Because there are other ways to do it. This works best if you're using the free archetype system, which I imagine most of you are, but even if you're not, it might be worth it taking as an archetype without free archetype and just ignoring some of your class feats in order to take these instead. The first is Beastmaster, and probably the best known of them. This is a common archetype, and you're going to get your companion at level 1, but you're also going to get the ability to increase it at levels 4, 8, and 14, which makes it tied with Inventor for the fastest way to gain improvements with your companion. Very cool, very strong with so many classes, and if you ever wanted that feel of, a barbarian with a wolf or, a fighter with a Tyrannosaurus, this can be a really good way to do that. All right, next is the Clockwork Reanimator. I don't know if my video has already gone out yet about Dr. Victor Frankenstein, or if it's going to go out, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge, this could come into play there. This is a rare archetype, so GM may not allow you to have it. Make sure you check with them. But it allows you to bring a corpse back to life using clockwork, which is very, very cool. This has its increases set at 4, 8, and 14, just like the Beastmaster, so you'll improve right along as you should, keeping up with all of the combat needs, and this can fit with so many classes. It's a very cool option, and has a lot of theming around it as well. And finally, Undead Master. This archetype is about bringing undead back with magic. Its feats happen at 4, 8, and 14 for your standard improvements. No surprise there. I do want to say all of these archetypes have a lot of different feats that are about improving your companion that happen between the natural increase feats. So for Beastmaster, it's not just that you have feats at 4, 8, and 14. There's a lot of feats in there. There's so many options, so many choices that improve your companion. These are just when you get your standard increase feats. So don't ignore them. There's a lot going on with every single one of these archetypes. Now that we've talked about your companions, how you get them, how we improve them, what kind of abilities they can have, let's actually do a demonstration of what it looks like in combat. All right, so we're doing a quick demonstration now of how you might play using a companion. We'll use a level 8 fighter who took the Beastmaster dedication at level 2 using the free archetype system. We're going to grab an ape companion because we're level 8 and kept up with the advancement feats for our animal companion. We'll have taken both mature and incredible companion. We chose savage rather than nimble to increase strength and athletics. The ape support benefit will cause any creature within its reach to become frightened 1 if we hit that creature before the start of our next turn. Its advanced maneuver allows the ape to attempt to demoralize a creature for 1 action. Something to keep in mind as we specialize, because we would definitely specialize toward the athletics and intimidation side. While that creature is frightened by the ape, It is also off guard to the ape, which is a massive combo of a -3 AC debuff between being frightened and being off guard. As you can see, we're starting out with 3 creatures in the area. One is closer and the other 2 farther away. Given the high perception of the fighter, we go first. On the first action, I'll command the ape, whose name is Donkey, to move and use its support benefit. Then I'll use 2 actions, one to stride and one to attack. I hit, dealing damage and causing the creature to become frightened 1. Notice I was able to flank with my own companion, increasing the chance to land a hit and crit. As the creature tries to flee, I use reactive strike and critically hit the enemy. The other 2 make ranged attacks at us, but both my fighter and the ape have very high AC, so neither of us is hit. On round 2, I command Donkey to run up between the 2 of them and attempt to grapple 1. Donkey succeeds at its athletics check, having a +18 in athletics, which matches my fighter, who has master proficiency in athletics and max strength. The creature is grappled now, and I can run up and strike the other creature who is off guard thanks to being flanked by my companion. The creature I critically hit now strikes back, attacking Donkey. Even though it critically hit, it still only did 40 damage, and my companion has more than enough HP remaining. The second attack misses, and it tries to escape, but receives a reactive strike for its trouble. The other attempts to demoralize Donkey, but with the +16 will save, giving him a +26 DC, the demoralize fails. It manages to escape, but then simply runs off to avoid us. We can stop here, but you can see that just my character alone with his animal companion are enough to truly threaten and even take on a small group of enemies. The tactics, damage, and health between us make us a force to be reckoned with just as one character, our player character, and with a ton of fun, honestly, with the playstyle. There are challenges to having a companion, of course. You have to give up 1 action each turn, which is a big sacrifice. And though you can always choose not to command your companion and just let it sit out, because that's also fine, then you kind of don't have access to it at all, which is not as much fun, but it may be important sometimes. You'll have to come up with more actions to take on your turn, increasing the burden on you as a player because you have to think about what is my companion doing and what am I doing. But for players that really enjoy a lot of options, this is a great way to go. So don't let any of those minor challenges stop you from trying a companion out. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it prepared you to use companions, and I hope you try them out because companions are so much fun. Having said that, just go out and play the game and have the most fun you can with it. And as always, adventure on.